find the...
We'll set that up. In the meantime, let me do the introductions, Diane, for you.
Okay.
As I mentioned, our special guest speaker this evening is Cornell Tech's Director of K12 Education, Diane Levitt. In addition to working closely with PSIS 217 on Roosevelt Island, Diane works with about a dozen other schools to develop and test technology curriculum. Diane's career has been in education and philanthropy, most recently as the Director of Corporate Social Responsibility for Belkin, which is a global consumer electronics company. Her job there was to drive their corporate involvement in education reform. She moved here from Los Angeles in February. Diane moved from Los Angeles in February.
That would be 22 consecutive days of snow.
Yes.
Just saying.
Yes.
Right.
To begin her role at Cornell Tech, Diane is a real superstar, and we are just thrilled to have her and know you will enjoy hearing from her. Diane?
Thank you, Jane. And I love my job, and I actually enjoyed the 22 consecutive days of snow in February. The 5 days of snow in April, I felt a little bit differently about. Don't do that again. Okay. A few months ago, I sat in a principal's office of an all-girls high school in Queens eating pizza and talking about the future with 9 students. They wanted to talk to me about careers in technology. 9 earnest, diverse faces looked at me across the table, excited about their ideas for education and employment beyond high school. One told me she participated in the Hour of Code. Another one taught herself Python, which is a coding language, on YouTube. You might be shaking your head in amazement at the tech fluency of our kids naturally acquire, while many of us are still struggling to update the operating systems on our iPhones. But what I thought when I left that wonderful lunch was not just how remarkable these remarkable girls are. What I thought was what an incredible amount of their time we are wasting, not getting these students and all of their peers systematized exposure to the tech tools and content that drive the world we live in. It's true that they have iPads and Chromebooks at school, but a tool is just that. When I was in middle school, we had a one-to-one pencil program. Maybe true for you too. But that pencil did not make me a writer. What made me a writer was learning the vocabulary and syntax of language, reading other great writing, writing myself and having teachers and peers read it and tell me where it worked and where it didn't. Today, we welcome our tech-savvy kids and their less knowledgeable peers to school by making them power down when they walk through the door. Right? We say, give up your phones, don't go online. Yes, we give them laptops, we flip instruction, which means we let them learn online at night and then do their homework during the day. We blend learning using computers at school, but we almost never give them the keys to the technology kingdom. We don't teach them how software and hardware that drive the learning that they're doing, how they're made, despite the fact that we know they are very curious. We don't give them the tools to innovate, and we don't create the problem-solving pathways that support so much other learning. You might say, as a middle school social studies teacher said to me a few weeks ago, what does this have to do with our classrooms? It's got nothing to do with the subject area. It's not in the standards. It's not in the test. Why does it matter? So it matters because our students crave relevancy. They know that much of what we are required to teach them may never be useful. By ignoring technology, we miss the opportunity to give them something that will connect them more deeply to school. It matters because computer science is basically a problem-solving discipline. And learning the skills and strategies that underlie computing will give them a whole new set of tools for learning other subjects too. It matters because that's where the jobs are now and will be for the foreseeable future. Lots and lots of jobs. and fewer than half the number of trained American students to fill them. And it matters because of equity. Women and minorities are underrepresented in tech majors and jobs. In fact, across the board, women, African Americans, and Latinos are in the tech workforce at about half the rate that they are in the general workforce. That doesn't only mean half of them have these high-paying jobs. It means we are missing out on their contributions to not only to technology, but to the workforce in general. Why is this? So let's look at AP Computer Science, the AP Computer Science test. So AP, for those of you who don't know, stands for Advanced Placement, and it basically is our way of doing some college curriculum in high schools. It's a way to demonstrate rigor for students who are planning to go on to careers in higher ed. So, and there is an AP History test, there's an AP English test, there's an AP Calculus test. I did not take that test, I'm just saying. So we're going to look at AP Computer Science. It's not the only measure of computing in K-12, but it's one measure. So APCS is only offered by about 10% of schools in the United States, right? So this graph is a little bit hard to see, and I apologize. But the lines I want you to see are the ones at the top, which represent AP US History, and the ones at the bottom, which is AP Computer Science. So in 2012, almost 440,000 students took the AP US History test. And that same year, just under 24,000 students took the AP Computer Science test. It's about 5% as many kids taking AP CS as taking AP US, and about the computer science test represents about 0.2% of all the AP tests taken that year in the United States. So I'm not saying there aren't a lot of jobs for history majors or that history is not important, but I am saying I think there are more jobs in computer science, and we are not preparing our kids for them. One more thing that you may find interesting. In New York State, there are 8 different teaching certificates for agriculture. There are 4 for home economics, 2 for travel services. There's even 1 for sewing machine repair. There is no teaching certificate in the state of New York for computer science. Part of the reason we don't have computer science classes is that we don't have computer science teachers. So just something for you to know. So perhaps we can agree that we need to get our students and ourselves digital ready. Here's Janet Napolitano, who is now the president of the University of California. She's a former governor of Arizona and was our Homeland Security Secretary. She said, public schools were designed as the great equalizers of our society, the place where all children could have access to educational opportunities to make something of themselves in adulthood. The place where all children could have access to educational opportunities to make something of themselves in adulthood. Like her, and I suspect like you, I believe that we make a promise to children that we are going to get them ready for the world. And today, that world is digital. I also understand that most of us are not subject matter experts when it comes to technology. For instance, I have a bachelor's degree in women's studies and a master's degree in early childhood education. When I taught a lesson to teachers on algorithms recently, I was way out of my comfort zone. But I believe we must all get to the place where we understand the basics of computing and learn how to get out of our own way by becoming these kids' technology mentors, or coaches, or cheerleaders. We are going to need to change this part of their education from listening to doing. And we should all understand how computing relates to every discipline, because no matter what is taught, computing relates. At Cornell Tech, the connection to K12 education is core to our mission. That's why, even though we're a graduate campus in applied sciences, we have a position at the director level totally focused on creating opportunities for K-12 computing curriculum in New York City. This is our K12 mission statement. We're in the process of developing curriculum that we hope will make teachers and students computationally literate. We want everyone to understand the way software, logic, algorithm, code, and debugging affect your life. We want students to see the academic and career paths available to them if they're interested. So my highest priority is the Director of K12 Education at Cornell Tech, this PSIS 217, and it has been a great pleasure to get to know both the professional and volunteer leaders there and to build a working relationship with them. I've been working with Principal Mandana Beckman, her middle school teachers, and the PTA. There's Fiona, who is one of my partners in this effort, to find opportunities to make tech a part of particularly the middle school, which is the area of focus both for the campus and I think for the school. So I'm hoping to work also with the Beacon program to try to identify great after-school tech opportunities. I'm going to be, I volunteered to work on fundraising with the PTA, and I'm going to continue to be as engaged as possible without being a pest. At least I'm trying that part. To look for ways to support excellence and innovation. We do have one middle school teacher going this summer to professional development in a program called Bootstrap, which is a way to teach algebra using game design, computer game design, so we're really excited about that. There's a lot of research supporting this effort, so I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of that. We're exploring a couple of different coding curriculums that we'll be testing in the middle school this year. We've looked at one, I found another to check out, so we'll be on that until we find exactly what works for the school. We really want all New York City schools to become part of this revolution. If you're curious about becoming more tech literate yourself, I recommend visiting code.org or the Khan Academy and trying one of their online courses. I myself am learning computer programming online at the Khan Academy, and it's actually pretty good, and my dean recommends it when you know something about computer programming. So you'll be surprised at how quickly you begin to understand our digital world. And that he also knows something about computer programming. So that is where I am. I'm very happy to answer questions for you. I'm only about 5 months on the job, so just still ramping up, but really curious about your thoughts and happy to answer questions.
Thanks very much, Diane.